She found an old house tucked away in the trees, so rundown it looked like it might fall apart, but cheap enough that she could barely swing it. There were no neighbors nearby. Wild animals showed up all the time, and most of the villagers had already moved down the mountain. The agent told her to keep looking. Hannah thought it was perfect. The quieter it was, the safer they would be. Once they settled in, Yuki was over the moon. She explored everywhere, front yard to back, completely fascinated by the forest and the feel of dirt under her hands. Aim, on the other hand, was scared of the unfamiliar place and wanted to stay glued to his mother. But the most urgent thing was the house. The floors needed patching. The roof needed repairs. Cracks and gaps had to be sealed. The kind of heavy work people usually expect a man to do landed squarely on Hannah. She had no idea what she was doing, so it was all trial and error. Every time it rained, water came in from everywhere. Hannah would track down the leak, fix it, then fix the next one. A full month went by before the place was barely livable. By then, her hands were covered in cuts. To celebrate moving in, she put the kids on her bike and rode down the mountain along narrow farm roads to the supermarket in town. Hannah pulled out the last 1,000 yen in her wallet and bought a few discounted ingredients. The climb back up was long and steep. She pushed the bike one step at a time, but she told herself she could live with that kind of exhaustion, because that night, for the first time in a while, they ate a real hot meal. Her savings disappeared fast. Hannah started thinking about farming as a way to survive. She did not know anything, so she learned from scratch, turning the soil, adding fertilizer, planting seeds. When the first sprouts pushed through the ground, the three of them lit up like they had finally found hope. Then a storm rolled through, and every vegetable rotted. Hannah just stood there, lost, not even sure what she had done wrong. All she could do was try again. She switched to tomatoes and treated every failure like tuition. Life was still hard. Aim grew more timid by the day and cried for his mom constantly. Hannah worried he would never adapt, and she worried about the choice her children might be forced to make one day. She had read that wolf pups start learning to hunt at around 4 months, so she took the kids into the forest, hoping they would get in touch with their instincts. Yuki was thrilled, like she had returned to the place she was meant for. She caught a mouse in no time and could even hold her own against a snake. Aim could not keep up. After a few steps he threw up. In the end he hid under a tree, shaking and sobbing, because all he wanted was to be close to his mother. Lately, Aim had been reading a lot of picture books, and in those stories the big bad wolf is always the villain, hated and chased, and in the end killed by a hunter. Hearing her child cry like that, Hannah felt her heart twist. She understood that one day her children would have to decide whether to live as humans or survive as wolves. No matter what they chose, she would back them up. But even more urgent than parenting was putting food on the table. The tomatoes withered again. Hannah and Yuki sank into anxiety. Hannah swallowed her panic and acted like everything was fine in front of Yuki. She refused to let her daughter see how close she was to breaking. That was when Grandpa Hosokawa from the village happened to pass by. He stopped and just stood there without saying a word. Hannah forced a smile and greeted him, and for reasons she could not understand, Hosokawa snapped at her. Hannah was confused, hurt, and discouraged. After sunset, the mountain village turned even darker. She pulled the dead tomato plants out of the soil, and it felt like she was yanking out the last bit of hope she had been clinging to. Helplessness spread through her chest. But the next day, Grandpa Hosokawa had his daughter-in-law bring over a bag of potato seed. It was his clumsy way of telling Hannah that maybe there was not much softness here, but that did not mean there was no way forward. After the rain cleared, Hannah buried an entire potato in the ground. Hosokawa showed up on purpose, dug it back out, and scolded her for wasting food. The soil conditions were wrong, he said. No matter how hard she tried, she would be working for nothing. Then he got down to business. He showed her how to turn the soil, how to loosen it, how to shape the rows, how to hold